Hamlet is a story about a young person, for me, about a young person who's really coming to terms with understanding grief and loss and death. And, that's obviously it's such a universal experience that we all go through. And to have Christine Horn in the lead role and Dawn Jenny Burley as Horatio, who's Hamlet's best friend, but who is the person who's telling this entire story, just reveals a different kind of humanity to this story. It's just a way of seeing it new. It's seeing it through a different lens. It's keeping the structure of this old-timey play with thee, thou, thou, as my mom would say, and updating it through different perspectives, different voices, and a different language, which is sign language. And in doing that, I think it challenges us to not only see and hear the play differently, but to see it through an entirely different lens.
When we first started making the show, we didn't really have a show. We had a script. We had this cut, sort of rearranged version of Hamlet, but we didn't know what the play was, so we were creating it as we went. And having Dawn in the show, she always was aware that there would be a deaf audience, which we don't often think about. We make a play and then we try to make it accessible, instead of from the beginning assuming that both hearing and deaf people are coming. So the whole thing has to be bilingual. So that has really impacted how we have made the play. It impacts how we are on stage and things that I wouldn't normally have to think about in terms of a physical cue, so that my fellow actor knows where I am in my text. I don't have to do that generally. So having to think about how I'm working with. And Dawn and I are on stage together all the time. So that has changed the way that I think about my relationship with other actors on stage.
This production is so special to me. I feel that it is a wonderful example of what I call intersectional theater. And I want to talk about that because a lot of people are talking about inclusivity and inclusion. And for me, I feel that idea of inclusion really is a system that's designed to fail, because you have to ask the question, who's being included and into what are they being included? That model assumes that I am the problem and that needs to be included into something else. And this show takes an intersectional approach, which is really different. We're coming together, deaf people, hearing people coming together to tell a story. It's not about including me, it's about telling a story. And so that deaf and hearing audiences, nobody's the target. This isn't a show that's being produced for a particular group or access is being made for another group. This is a story that's being told. When I studied, I did my master's degree in London in physical theater, and there's a long story and I learned a lot. I had to prove myself over and over every day. But at the end, even though I graduated top of my class there, their response at the end was to say that it really didn't seem possible to them that deaf and hearing people could work together in theater. And I thought, what have I been doing all of this time? And so this show, Prince Hamlet, demonstrates that deaf and hearing can work together, and it's a gender reversed role, right? We've got white and black cast members, we've got deaf and hearing cast members, we've got the production is happening in English and ASL. This is a real demonstration of what is possible, and I believe that this can be a beacon that can show other people what they could do too. And it hasn't happened yet, but I feel that there's a lot that this shows about what's possible.